Guys, we're fucked. We're fucked. We are fucked so much. As a society, as a planet, we're going... I don't want to believe that, but from what I see, we're going downhill. We're fucked, man. Things are not getting better. People who think they're waking up are just entering a little bit next level and still stuck in the same bullshit, still stuck in the same paradigm. They think they escaped the Matrix, but they just upgraded the Matrix. They think they've off-grid. Man, we're so fucked, man. 4 out of 5 people are NPCs. 4 out of 5 people. 80% of people you see... First of all, you could probably be an NPC watching this. So you're probably not gonna watch this because attention span is so short. You need zooms and cuts and... But maybe you're not an NPC, so you're watching this. 4 out of 5 are NPCs, man. 8 out of 10. 80 out of 100. Chances are most of your friends are NPCs. Your parents are probably NPCs. They just have certain function and they fulfill that function. Just like a rock. Like a rock is just there. And then sometimes it breaks because the water cracks it. NPCs are like that. And most planets are just NPCs, man. And I don't want to make fun of NPCs, but the reality is, it seems like at least every NPC can wake up. But they're NPCs, man, and we're so fucked. So this is for the few. This is for those few who are heroes, who are the main characters in their game, who are playing and doing quests, you know? And you've probably been doing side quests for now. Your body grows by itself, so you know, you turn 18 regardless of how well you do with your side quests. So you're a big boy now. And you realize you're not an NPC. And you're probably starting to suspect that the rest of the people are NPCs. So this is for you, man. You gotta wake the fuck up. You gotta wake up, man. You gotta wake up. This is bullshit what's happening around us. This is so much degradation and so much retarded dumb shit is happening around us. And I'm gonna list it all, don't worry. But so much fucking dumb stuff is happening all the time, and people are just completely clueless and oblivious, and they don't even wanna like accept that this is bullshit. They rather keep believing the bullshit because the pain of realizing that you've been a moron most of your life is so much that they don't want to fucking do it. So they rather keep living like a retard for the rest of their life in their little fucking bullshit illusory paradise. They rather live in that than wake the fuck up. It's painful to wake up. It's painful to get out of the fucking bed. It's a nice cozy bed mommy made for you. You don't want to wake up. We're fucking idiots. A planet of idiots. Bro, I never knew people are dumb like that. But being in the States has finalized it, man. Americans are as dumb as any other fucking nation. They're full of idiots. Majority are idiots. Derpers and NPCs, like in every other country, somehow they're the richest and most powerful nation at the moment on the planet. How is that possible? And the problem is that having more money just amplifies how dumb people are, because you can see more of them doing dumb shit. Where do I begin, man? Okay, you want to wake the fuck up. 2 things you have to start looking at is the shit that your mind is being fed and the shit that your body is being fed, okay? Yeah. Whatever you eat into your body does also affect your mind, and whatever you feed into your mind also affects your body, but let's just split them for now for the ease of fixing it, let's say, waking up. So you're being bombarded with bullshit all day long. You're being bombarded with bullshit television, bullshit news, too much fucking misinformation. You're being hypnotized. You've been hypnotized for such a long time. You've been conditioned and conditioned and conditioned on multiple layers by your government, by your family, by your school, in so much bullshit that it's almost hard to believe it. And it's hard to question it because you're within it. You're like in the box and somebody tells you like, oh, there's more than a box. You're like, what are you calling a box? Like, this is life. Like, your life is in a box. And so just start upgrading to a bigger box for now. So many people talk about escaping the matrix. Like Andrew Tate. Let's take Andrew Tate, for example. Andrew Tate there, he says some of the things that are reasonable, but his biggest thing is like escape the matrix by becoming rich. Becoming rich is not escaping the matrix. Becoming rich is just going from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid, right? You're in the pyramid. This is a pyramid. Don't think I'm showing you Illuminati sign. This is a pyramid. You're in the bottom of the pyramid. You're getting fucked. You're getting fucked. You have to work for a minimum wage or whatever wage. You trade your time for money. You travel to a job. You pay rent for an apartment. You pay taxes. You pay groceries. You pay for travel and lots of bullshit. You're getting fucked. You're fucked. The moment you stop working, something happens to you, you're fucked. You pay your health insurance, it doesn't want to pay out your money, you're fucked. You're on the bottom of the pyramid. Now, his version of escaping the matrix is just moving from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid. When you're well, probably not going to get to the top of the pyramid, but somewhere, you're going to be somewhere in the middle of the pyramid. Now, you're going to be getting fucked still, but you're also going to be doing some of the fucking. You're going to hire employees who are going to work for you for minimum wage, who are going to slave their fucking life away, 5, 6, 7 days a week. They're going to work for you to make you richer. You're going to profit from their labor. Initially, it's going to be hard for you, but you're going to profit from their labor eventually, from their stupidity, right? And I'm not blaming you, because someone else is going to profit from their labor, so, it might as well be you in some way, right? But this is not in any way escaping the matrix. You're just upgrading your position in the matrix. Now you were being fucked by your boss, now you're fucked by your customers. Your customers can destroy your business, they can destroy your livelihood. The IRS can come for you and destroy your fucking business. The government policy can change and fuck your business up. Bigger business can come and influence the policy and fuck your business over. They can do a hostile takeover. There's so many things other businesses can do, other rich people can do to fuck your business. So you have to be nice to them. You're getting fucked by them, regardless. No matter how high you climb within what's allowed for you in that pyramid. He says escape the matrix. The way he got there was by fucking other people over. He didn't even create a legitimate business like a shop, a grocery store, selling fruit, selling clothes, offering some genuine service. He didn't even do that. He had casinos. You profit of people being retarded and gambling their money away. That is pretty much the same thing as selling drugs. It's very, you're profiting of people being retards. That's how you profit on drugs most of the time, especially selling hard stuff. People to get addicted to. People get addicted to gambling. They give all their life savings away. He got part of his money from OnlyFans, webcams, whatever. That's basically prostitution. Understand this, there's a market for prostitution already. How do you expand your market? You need more people being retards and paying for sex, so you need more simps. You're profiting of men being simps, and you are interested in creating more simps so you can sell more hookers, so you can make more money. The same thing with cam, whether it's sex in real life or some sexual services over camera. You have idiots lusting, wasting their money, wasting their energy. You're destroying society, you're destroying people's lives, and you're profiting of that. How is that escaping the matrix? You're an idiot if you think that's escaping the matrix. You're full of shit if you think that's escaping the matrix. So a lot of people, a lot of people are out there trying to sell you escape the matrix. Imam Gadzi, whatever pronounce his name, Andrew Tate, all these other bullshitters, they're selling you get rich quick schemes, right? Saying that you're going to escape the matrix, but all you're doing is upgrading your position. Now, again, you're not wrong for wanting a better life. Somebody's going to be in that position, and you're just going to strong arm yourself there and get as far as you can, and try to stay there as much as possible, and someone else is going to kick you down, or you're going to keep going up, whatever, or if they're not going to take your position, they're going to take someone else's position, right? And that's just how the pyramids are. There can only be so many people. Now, this might change with how we're going to be doing robots, but who's going to be buying all that stuff? You don't know. So this is the first thing. You're being constantly bombarded with misinformation, and even when you're trying to look for some way of liberation and freedom from that, you just get to the layer of bullshit that has some truth sprinkled in it. They use terms like become free from the matrix, and I'm going to explain you what truly being free from the matrix means. Actually, I'm going to explain you multiple layers on that, so you can actually recognize where you're at and where you thought freedom was. But and then I'm going to tell you what really freedom from the matrix is. But I'll leave that for the end. The moment you start waking up and being like, wait, I'm being lied to, government is definitely being dishonest with me, they didn't present full information on this, and actually they said one thing was one way, and now it turns out it was the other. So for 4 or 5 years we were being lied to, and some people were aware of this and some weren't, and some were silenced and some were killed, and some lost their jobs. Maybe I'm being lied to. Let me look into the freedom from the matrix. And then these idiots come and say, hey, you get freedom from matrix by buying my product for $50 a month, $100 a month, $2,000 one-time fee. You can split over 8 payments of, I don't know, $250 a month, blah, blah, blah. And they just feed on your desire to escape from the matrix by feeding you another product, which is just part of the same fucking thing. You being poor or rich, you're part of the matrix. You're just serving different purposes. You're doing different jobs. You're either whipping or you're being whipped. You're whipping or you're being whipped. Or you're quite likely being whipped and whipping at the same time. And you're just being whipped and whipped and whipped. And you're being whipped with a better whip. Well, my whip is real leather, and you're being whipped with like fake Chinese factory-produced whip. And mine's like handmade, made in America, Texan leather whip, whatever. You're being whipped with a bigger and better whip. You live in a bigger and better prison cell. I'm in New York. I've been in New York for a bit now. I've seen a variety of apartments. Some are bigger, some are smaller. Some are better, some are worse. You're upgrading your prison cell, right? You're just in a different position. You're doing part of the work that the prison guards are supposed to do, but instead they say, hey, prisoner, if you're gonna do this part of the job that the prison guard is supposed to do, we're gonna give you some perks. And you're like, oh, great. And now you're whipping the rest of the inmates that are retarded, NPCs, and you're profiting of them. Fucking great. So that's escaping the matrix. Now, I'm gonna park that topic of escaping the matrix and tell you what truly escaping the matrix is a little bit later. But understand that if you're still using money, whether it's Bitcoin or fiat, you're still in the matrix. You're fully plugged in. You're just using it a little bit better, and you get your benefits from it. Poor people get to complain about how full of shit you are if you're on the top, or if you're at the bottom, you get to complain and feel good about yourself and feel righteous. You get to the middle and you get to benefit nicer lifestyle and more travel and better apartment and better girlfriend. And you get to profit of these idiots that are on the bottom complaining about you, and you get to complain about the other guys. So understand that most people are trying to profit of your mind a lot. So, and your attention. We're gonna look at your body for now. Just we're gonna kind of go side by side. Your body does affect your mind a lot. What you eat affects what you think, okay? It is direct correlation, okay? And there are some people that are very strong-minded and are able to fulfill something, and they kind of don't care what they eat. Dean Graziosi said, hey, you know, if I order a steak and they bring me chicken, I don't care to argue, I'm just gonna eat it because I got bigger things to worry about. He's so focused on his goal of becoming super rich that he doesn't care about what he eats. Now, I'll tell you, if you're playing within that matrix and you're trying to get to the top and you're trying to build your big business, it might not really matter whether you eat a steak or a chicken or a burger or a pizza or a lasagna or a fucking, I don't know, ice cream. Maybe it doesn't matter. But you're still within the matrix. You're just trying to be more. You're trying to optimize for a bigger car, more. If you really want to liberate your mind, you really have to start looking at diet and how diet affects you, how food affects you, right? How the juices and the drinks and all that other stuff affects you. The reality is, most of the foods we eat are poisoned, especially in the United States. I'm gonna say this on my own experience. Dude, I was in Bangkok just recently and I had a six-pack. I was in good shape and I wasn't exercising that much. I wasn't going to the gym. I was doing some push-ups, some sit-ups, some squats at home whenever I had time. And somehow I'm in a good shape. And I've been eating cakes, I've been eating desserts, you know. I'm not on an ideal diet myself sometimes. And my body was fine. And now in America, I'm eating and I got a belly. Within a month, I have a fucking belly. I look at myself about 3-4 days ago and I'm like, what the fuck is happening, man? This food is poison. Now, you know, there are worse and better, but most foods are poisoned. But American foods are poisoned to the highest fucking degree. So if you're watching this and you're in America, you're fucked. I started fasting straight away, man. When I saw that, I was like, I'm going on a fast. I fasted. The next day I had one meal, fasting again, and I'm probably gonna do that. Probably gonna fast one day, eat the next, fast one day, eat the next. Because this food is so poisonous, man. You just can't snack on it. Like, I don't know what level organic it has to be. Even stuff from Whole Foods is better, but it's like still shit. You can probably eat more of the Whole Foods food, but then you're gonna be working more to try to pay for it, man. Because shit is like twice as expensive, 3 times more expensive. Unless you're just eating pasta and rice. So, your food is poison. But it's not just the pesticides, it's not just, you know, Monsanto and all of these, it's not just, you know, Big Pharma or whatever else isn't, you know, making the food so unhealthy. It's not just that it's produced and all that. Food itself creates toxins in your body. Cooked food especially is not even easily digested or undigestible at all. Just think about the amount of poop that comes out of the body after a meal is not like a lot less. It's about like, I don't know, 60, 70, 80% of what we eat quite often. And you'll be thinking, like, how the fuck is there so much shit? So all of that is not getting digested. It means you're not getting those calories, you're not getting those macros, you're not getting those micronutrients as well. You know, maybe you're getting more, we can't say, but you're not getting a lot of those calories. Your body is not absorbing a lot of the food you eat, so most of it is getting unabsorbed. What's the point to eat then if it's not getting absorbed? Wouldn't it be smarter to absorb more of that food? If you had a car that absorbed only that used only 1% of the petrol and then the rest was just wasted on the asphalt, you'd be thinking, man, something is wrong with the engine, right? You want to burn all that fuel that gets into the engine, right? You want it to be burned 100%. If it's not burning fully, something is wrong. If your body is not digesting majority of the food that gets in it, something is wrong. But I'm not gonna go too much on that. Let's just start with this. Majority of food is poisoned with pesticides and just the way it's produced and the way it's been interbred and the species of it and the way it's kept and the plastics and all that. So, you know, BPAs and the way it's refined. So let's just agree that majority of food you eat is poison. White flour, white sugar, meat, processed meat, you know, processed meat and all that stuff. So, and you can't stop eating it because you're addicted to it. Why do you think it's so hard to overcome addictions? Because addictions layer on top of each other. Everyone has food addiction. Maybe there's a few people who don't, but everyone has food addiction. And then alcohol addiction is layered on top of that. Cigarette addiction is layered on top of that. Video game addiction is layered on top of that. Sex addiction is layered on top of that. And drugs are all layered there. And everyone has like different branches, different ways it's intervened, but it all stems from food addiction, addiction for emotions. And there are healthier ways to get emotions, and there are unhealthy ways to get emotions. And most of the time, if you live in a city like New York, you work the job you hate, and then you come home and your only source of good emotions is to eat your nice and tasty meal. And you don't care if it's unhealthy, because otherwise you'd go fucking crazy, because you need some good emotions in that day because your job sucks and you hate it. So that's the reality for most people, not just in New York, but across the world. So we're addicted to our foods. Our foods are poisoning us. They're slowly killing us. They're influencing our minds. They're affecting our thoughts. We're kind of trapped. Right? We have to work to pay rent. We need to live close to work, so we pay higher rent. We need a car to get to work, so we need a better job so we can afford the car. And then I also want nicer foods because my body's starting to decline, so you start paying more for food, and then you need a better job again. You get more stress, you overeat more, and it never fucking ends, this cycle. That's most people's. And then your health insurance goes up because your health deteriorates, so you need even more money. So it's a fucking never-ending cycle for most people. So you want to start controlling your food. And the easiest way to do it is fasting. Because for a lot of you, it's hard to remove some of the products, some of the produce, right? For a lot of you, it's hard to remove a lot of the things you want to eat: the burgers, the cakes, the desserts, the meats, the you know, chicken kebabs, chicken nuggets, chocolate cakes, eclairs, bread, you know, whatever, pizza. It's hard to remove the foods you really like. So a better solution for that is to fast, is to just learn how to fast and get yourself to a level where you reduce the amount of meals you have a day. You stop snacking, right? You exercise, and then get yourself, you know, don't have 3 meals a day. Don't have breakfast. You wake up full of energy. You're not supposed to be eating in the morning. Water, right? Water, a little bit of lemon, some honey, pink salt. You know, this is perfect. You can add some cayenne pepper as well, but I wouldn't add to the whole big bottle of it because I don't want it spicy all the time. But a couple of glasses I make with cayenne pepper. That helps to cleanse the stomach and generate a bit of heat in the body, especially if it's cold, like now it's cold. So you don't need to have 3 meals a day, you know. Start having 2. You know, if you weren't 3, start having 2. Stop snacking. There are 2 ways to do it. You either have, you know, 1 meal in the afternoon, 1 meal in the evening, or you can have a window of time that you eat, which how people do with intermittent fasting. But really what you want to be going towards is 1 meal a day. You want to be having 1 meal a day. Even if it's your favorite food, your pizzas and snacks, if it's 1 meal a day, it's just going to be better like that. Okay? So you don't have to worry about the quality of food too much. Now, if it becomes quite hard to have 1 meal a day, you can have 1 meal a day of cooked food, but the rest of the day you can eat fruits and vegetables and maybe raw nuts. Ideally, you want them soaked. This way, your stomach will still be full. There will be some stuff to digest, but this will not be so heavy because raw foods are a lot healthier and lighter on the body. I'm not gonna go too much into that because it's really hard to change what people eat. It is a lot easier to change when we eat. If you want to be really healthy, you can get yourself to the level where you eat 1 meal every other day, right? So 1 meal a day is called OMAD, 1 meal a day, OMAD. And 1 meal every other day is OMEOD, OMEOD. omeod. So omad and omeod, right? And you can do variety. You can maybe, do 1 day fasting, 2 days eating, 1 day fasting, 2 days eating. You can play around with that. But if you get yourself to that level, even if you have a very big meal, even with dessert, if it's every other day, man, the volume of that food is going to go down. You're going to get full a lot faster. And also your body will actually have time to get rid of those toxins. And this is how you can start becoming a lot healthier. There are many other ways to get there. Again, if you eat raw foods, it's a lot less work on the body. So you can even have like a raw day and a cooked. You can have 1 day when you have one cooked meal, and then the next day you only eat raw. That's also very nice. But sometimes it's easier just not to eat anything at all, because when we have a little bit of food, the memory and addiction kicks in, and it becomes really hard not to eat anything else. So what I noticed, and I've tried a few ways to kind of cleanse my body and my mind with that, is sometimes it's just easier not to eat at all. Just drink water, and all you do today is just drink water, and the moment you get hungry, you drink water, and if you start feeling cold, you drink water with some cayenne pepper, for example, if you're in America, or chili pepper if you're anywhere else. And you can also have warm water. That helps. Some people have coffee, some people have tea. Yeah, I don't like having caffeine because I become addicted to caffeine, and I need more of it, and it has caffeine withdrawal as well. So I like to stay pure, so just water is fine for me. And just drink more of it. You reducing your food addiction is going to open your mind about so many things that are happening, first of all, in your system. How you're stress eating, emotional eating, how you're not truly living the life you want to be living, and that's why you're eating to get those emotions, because really what you want to be is you want to be a hero, you want to be an adventurer, you want to venture off and explore the world, see different places, see different cities, see different mountains and caves and oceans and rivers and lakes, and meet different people and explore and go on a quest, slay some of your demons, grow. But instead you're eating and eating and eating. You're eating all of those desires to try to suppress them. When you start fasting a lot, not like 1 day a month, but a lot, you start seeing those patterns, and you start realizing, man, I'm not really living the life I want to be living. And be gentle on yourself, because if you're a recovering addict, because that food is addiction, you're a recovering addict. So give yourself time, give yourself permission to get there slowly, do those fasting days, and eat when you want to, but control. And if it's 1 meal a day, you can treat it as a cheat day initially and have everything you want, but slowly start also improving the quality of that. That also helps. It just sometimes it's harder for people to change what they eat. It is sometimes easier to change when they're eating, honestly. It's a lot easier, I find. But yeah, slowly start improving the quality and swap rice for quinoa, swap rice for buckwheat, swap pizza for, I don't know, man, such a stupid food, pizza. Who the fuck invented it, man? Dumb food, man. Sandwiches and pizzas, such dumb food. But, so it's less processed, right? Because dough, pasta and bread is very processed, but quinoa and rice, rice is not so healthy, but rice is better. But quinoa is even better than rice, and buckwheat are less processed, And instead of cooked buckwheat, you can just have soaked buckwheat. Just soak it in the water. It becomes very, very soft and digestible, and this way it digests so much better. You can boil it for a little bit, but anyway. Point being is, you start seeing all of those things when you start controlling your food, and then your alcohol and smoking addictions drop away. Suddenly you're in a whole different level, man. You're in a whole different level. Your life, you're gonna start waking up to life. You control your body. Start controlling your mind. It's a very, very easy access to most of us. We're being fed so much shit. Never in the history of humanity, we've been offered so much shit to eat, and we haven't been fed so much. We haven't been fed so much shit. So our minds, our bodies are not really used to that. Our systems are hacked. And This is one sure way to escape it. And you don't have to do any radical changes to your life. You can live where you live, you can work where you work, you can do all that stuff, just start reducing the amount of food you eat. And if it's very hard for you to do one meal a day, then just start reducing the volume of your food. You can have 2 tiny meals a day, that can work. If it's 3 you want, somehow, for some reason, make them tiny, make them small. Make most of them raw. Have only 1 cooked and then 2 raw, or 2 cooked, 1 raw. Like that. Don't snack on crisps and shit, snack on apples and grapes, bananas. And fast as much as you can. This will empty your mind of the toxins, and this will empty your mind of the energy of those things you've been eating. You will get a lot clearer. That clarity might bring up some pain. You've probably been stuffing a lot of emotions down. Process those emotions, just be with them. Learn to be with those uncomfortable emotions. Just learn how to be with them. Don't try to distract yourself. Don't try to call somebody for help. Don't try to look for a new partner, you know. One of my habits was, growing up, the way I would deal with uncomfortable emotions is watching pornography. Surely works, had a bad day, watch some adult websites, boom. Then I thought, well, that's very unproductive. I'm kind of simping. So I swapped that and I learned how to, get women in bed pretty fast, really fast, really fast. Sometimes honestly, 15 minutes from me to bed. And so I learned how to do that, and I just replaced my addiction for porn to sex addiction. I guess it's better. But ultimately it's not, because I'm still fucking stuck in the matrix of addiction, and I'm still looking. And in some ways, maybe porn addiction is better, because you watch some porn, you go back to work, but not always I was able to meet someone. I mean, not always you can meet someone in 15 minutes. Sometimes I was just spend hours and hours and hours all night looking for a chick to bang, just to get away from that pain. So learn how to be with the pain. Learn how to breathe into that pain and just to stay with it and just to be with it. And you might have to stop working. You might have to stop doing what you're doing and just be with it and be with it, be with it. Gym is not going to help you to remove that pain. Still do your gym, do your exercise. I do yoga, I do breath work, I do meditation. Still do that, but to process those emotions is just being with them, just being that uncomfortable. Not watching YouTube, not calling friends, not trying to meet someone, not talking to a psychologist. It might help to relieve the pressure built up by those emotions, but to process the emotions is just really being with it, being with it, being with it. Probably need a whole separate video for that. Put yourself in an uncomfortable situation if you have to, and just be there. Like, I'm in New York. I'm in a park now. It's a nice park, but I'm in New York. I like New York. It has a lot of nice things, but it's still a city, still grimy, still hard to be in. And so, learn how to be with those emotions. And fasting is gonna bring up a lot of that shit. And for those reasons, fat people never lose weight, because they have to fast. And then a lot of emotions come up, and a lot of pain of being fat comes up, and a lot of shit they've lost in their life because they're so fat. A lot of opportunities they gave up on because they're fat. A lot of bullying they got from the world. A lot of rejection because they're fat. And they don't want to deal with that. They just rather eat, so they just get fatter. It sucks. But some people just don't gain weight. They still eat their emotions in such a way. So taking control of that food is really going to help you. First, you want to, find what's easier for you, but increase the quality, reduce the amount, reduce the volume, reduce the times, get yourself to 1 meal every other day. That's perfect way to be. Then you can allow yourself to eat even slightly less healthier food and just train your body to live like that. This way you're not hooked on food, or less hooked on food, and you're starting to expand your mind really on that. Then we want to come back to the mind. you want to reduce the amount of bullshit that's being put into your head, and you want to sharpen your awareness and have periods of time where no extra information comes into your mind. So sitting in silence with your closed eyes. Sit in silence, no phone, no music, eyes closed. Silence, no music, no phone, eyes closed. You can call that meditation. But honestly, you can think if you want. But if it's really difficult for you to meditate, just close your eyes, switch everything off, and just think. Just think, it's fine. Eyes closed, no music, no phone. Just sit for half an hour to an hour and just think, if you want, honestly. Now you can try meditation, which is focusing, for example, on an object, or on a sound, or on your breath, your nostrils here. Just feel the sensation of breath coming here. That's one way to do it. You can focus on your heart. There's many, many meditations there you can find. I want you to explore that and see what resonates for you and what works for you. But honestly, if it's too hard to meditate, don't worry about it. Don't try to meditate. Just sit down, switch off the lights, switch off the music, put your phone away on an airplane, and just sit for half an hour to an hour, eyes closed, and just think. Just contemplate. Honestly, this will be way better than you sitting on your phone or doing something else. This will still sharpen your mind, and you will probably get bored of thinking at some point, and you'll be like, okay, let me try this meditation thing. You know what I mean? So this is an entryway, but eventually start meditating, right? If it's just really hard initially, don't worry about it. Just sit and think. But start meditating eventually. You will get your mind sharper. That sharpness will help you in your daily activities, in your work, and in your fasting. It will help you with those cravings for food or cigarettes or women or pornography or your phone or your reels or texting somebody or any unhealthy stuff. Meditation will help you to deal with that. It will be easier to meditate when you're eating less shit food. If you've eaten a lot of crappy food and you try to meditate afterwards, it just doesn't work. It's really hard to do that. It is. You're either going to be too agitated and restless, or if you've eaten a lot of food that makes you sleepy, you will just be falling asleep instead of being able to meditate. So having a sharp, alert body will make meditation and being alert easy, and will make sharpening your mind easy. And once your mind starts getting sharper, you start recognizing how much bullshit you believe in yourself, how much bullshit you've been convinced in, how much bullshit is outside, and how much bullshit other people believe in, how many people are actually NPCs. All of this will start appearing even easier and easier. And as you're able to do with that sharper mind, you're able to go longer into fasting, you're able to see more. Now, to support your fasting and meditation, you want to find some way of breath work. Actually, before breath work, exercise, okay? Find some way to exercise your body. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be like super hardcore resistance weights or bodybuilding. None of that. Bodybuilding is actually not really good for you because you eat too much food, you become dumb, you become retarded and stupid and just big and dumb. Well, who the fuck wants that? If you want to be big and dumb, enjoy. This is NPC lifestyle. This is not for NPC, okay? You want to be sharp, you want body to be agile, you want your body to be ready to move, to run, to whatever you need to do, but you don't want to be like big and puffy, right? So find some way to exercise that works for you. Hiking, running, push-ups, gym, but not like overdoing it to the extreme, pull-ups, calisthenic, sports, basketball, whatever, whatever works for you. Do something. Walking, good enough. So you're breathing, but you also want to find some sort of breath work. Some sort of way where you are learning how to harness the energy of the breath, how to get more energy through breathing. What's it going to help you is it's going to help you to go longer fasting, because the moments where it's going to become difficult, you can just do some breath work, and that's going to give you energy, and also it's going to help you to learn how to alkalize your blood without anything else. Because a good breath work, when done intensely enough, will alkalize the blood, which will probably remove headaches and remove any sort of negative symptoms of fasting. Because when body is fasting, it is removing a lot of the toxins, and it's going to cause acidity in the blood. That's going to make you feel weird and not good, and might give you a headache, might give you weakness, might give you just kind of general fatigue. Now, you can drink some lemon juice, have some honey or whatever, that will help to alkalize the blood, but that might not be always available, and it's not always good to rely on that. So you learning some sort of, but initially it's fine because it's easy to find the lemon, right? In this, wherever you are, it's probably easy to find the lemon or something. You can also use baking soda, but with lemon, even if you have too much lemon juice, your body will stabilize itself to perfect alkalinity. But if you have baking soda, if you have too much, it will not be perfect, so then your body will have to fight extra alkalinity. So you have to be careful with baking soda, but you can have a little bit of baking soda in extreme circumstances, a little bit of baking soda. But breath work is a better way, but initially it might not be, might not be used to it. So start adding breath work into your daily routine with meditation, maybe before meditation or before you're exercising, or maybe after exercise, before meditation, whatever way you find some breath work that works for you, that it will help you to alkalize the body. It will help you, it will train your lungs, it will train your body and your system, or your whole system, on how to harness the energy of the breath. Because really breath feeds us. Breathing is the most important thing in feeding the body. Not the food, not the water, but breathing. Not even the thoughts, not even the thinking, right? Breathing is number one. And we haven't really learned how to breathe. We just breathe naturally. So you learning some sort of breath work will help you to harness and learn the breath, harness the energy of breath. And you can try a few things. There's some beginner stuff, there's some more advanced stuff. I do recommend kind of starting with beginner stuff and then building yourself up to more advanced breathworks. There's many types of yoga that have very advanced breathworks. Wim Hof method can work, might be too extreme in some cases. It is a bit weird, Wim Hof method, because for me it made me feel a bit like disconnected from the world, because I think it got me too high. So I don't recommend that for like everyone. But his initial breath work is good, like not doing too many rounds, like when they do 6 to 8 to 12 rounds, that's probably too much sometimes. But 1 or 2 rounds, 4 rounds of the smaller one that they do, that's kind of good. And so that's going to teach you more about the breath, teach you more about your system, teach you more about the body, teach you how your feeling can change just with the breath. And you can try different breath works and see what feels good, what you like, which experiences you like, and you're going to keep that for those times when you're fasting and you're feeling hungry, and then you know that you can use your breath work to energize yourself, and now you're not feeling hungry anymore, because you just learned all your life, you've been bombarded with, if you need energy, you need food. If you need energy, you need food. If you're tired, you need food. If you need energy, you need food. So we need to undo that slowly, right? We can do it fast as well, but we want to undo that because it's not true. You can get energy from other sources. And so you learn that by doing breath work. If you're hungry, you do breath work well, you stop being hungry. Okay, wow. Now there are some types of breathwork yoga that can actually amplify digestion. So you don't want to do them because they can activate your stomach and actually make you more hungry. There are those types. So you want to make sure you're not doing those. You're doing something else instead. There's Qigong, Tai Chi, right? Yoga. There's many different stuff. I will share later about that. We're not going to go into that in this video, but that breathwork will energize your body, and you learn, okay, it's not the food that feeds my system, it's the energy from the air that feeds my system, You can start doing different things. You could just try breathing fast, breathing slow, holding breath, Wim Hof level 1 breathing, the initial one is good. The more advanced stuff, when they kind of release DMT, that can be a bit too much and might not always be necessary because it's a bit too much, but his first one is good. And so start adding breath work. So now you have all these tools. You have fasting, you have meditation, or just sitting in silence and darkness with eyes closed. You have breath work. You have all these tools. They're going to transform your life tremendously. You probably will already start seeing what kind of matrix we have been put in. You're in a food matrix. You're in money matrix, right? You're in sexual desire matrix. You're in all of these matrices, all of these influences, you know, trying to dominate you and make you conform and all that. You slowly start, you start having less for them to pull you with. When you eat less food, you become less addicted to food, you become less reliant on food, so you're able to be like, okay, wait, you know, goodbye food matrix, you distance yourself. You're not completely out, but you distance yourself. Because you eat less food, I also recommend having less spices and all that, and you know, if you really kind of look into depths of it, but just if you have less food, you probably, if you do it for long enough, what I said, you will start seeing that your sexual desire has different aspects to it. And there's a more dirty kind of animalistic desire, and there's more of a purer desire to connect. And so the dirty animalistic desire just to fuck like an animal will start reducing its hold on you, especially if you eat less and less and less meat. And you will see that, oh, okay, so my lust doesn't have much hold of me. So now porn and sex addiction are not a problem because there's just nothing for them to grab. You know, those matrices, they have no power over you because there's nothing to grab, because you're not eating a lot of food, and especially when you eat less animal products or no animal products, it's almost impossible for lust to grab you. You know, there might be old habits, but in general, it's a lot harder. So there's that, you know. You're becoming more free with your mind and your body. You start understanding that, okay, so now they're telling you, hey, escape the matrix, become rich. You're like, well, that's not escaping the matrix. That's just going to put me in the middle or higher in the matrix, where I'll be whipping and I'll be whipped, you know. Great. Better. It is better. What matrix are we in truly? That's why I want you to really start having a look at. We're being lied to on so many levels about the history of humanity, about who we are, about how to live, about what should we eat, what should we drink, what should we think, who should we hang out with, what should we do. Most of our ambitions and desires are imposed on us through modern media and movies and other heroes and people who made it, and celebrities and politicians, and we are being confused all the time. There are really amazing things to do on this planet, and a lot of us are not doing them. A lot of us are distracted. What is this constant matrix of pleasure and aversion? Feeling good and feeling bad, running away from feeling bad, running towards feeling good. What is this constant matrix? I'm not going to give you any answers, but I want you to start having a look deeper into that. Once you established yourself with fasting, breath work, meditation, exercise, becoming sharper and sharper, you're removing NPCs from your sphere of influence. You know, if your parents are NPCs, I'm sorry, they have to go. Why would you waste time on that? Why would you willfully become an NPC? If you're an NPC, good luck, you know. Enjoy. But you're not. You're watching this far, you're not. So I think this is enough for today. You implement all of this, you will see your life transform so much. You will learn so much about society and food and a lot of the things that are wrong. You will become a lot sharper. And with some time you spend in that and ground yourself in that. I mean, if you want to go faster, but depending on how quickly you can adapt and learn, you will be on a platform ready for a lot more exploration of life and different dimensions of life that are unavailable to NPCs. The reason you're not an NPC is because you were chosen to be awakened somehow. So it's time to wake up now. Do not wait. Do not waste your time. Wake up now. You can take it slow in terms of getting rid of, addictions and learning how to meditate and, fasting. Take it slow. Don't kill yourself. Some people die doing these things. But don't go too slow. But start moving. Start moving. Start moving. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up now. You've been lied to, you've been hypnotized, you've been tricked, you've been conned, you've been bullshitted, you're being fucked every day, you're being lied to, you're being attacked, bombarded mentally and physically, spiritually. Give them nothing to be fucked by. Give them nothing to be attacked with. Give them nothing to attack. Become less and less and less available to hypnosis, to manipulation, to lies, to fear. That is only stepping into these things you will become more powerful like that. Wake up to what you truly wanted to do all of your life. And it starts with 2 disciplines of your mind and your body. Become disciplined in your mind, in your body. That is the absolute foundation of your life. There's nothing else that will be more important. You establish yourself in those 2, the rest will fall into place. The natural God's light shining through you, you will not be able to stop it if you keep your system clean, if you keep your body and mind clean. Fasting, less shit into the body, less shit into the mind, meditation. You will be powerful if you start exploring the hidden knowledge of humanity. You see, there are mainstream religions that are there for NPCs. Again, the mainstream Christianity, every mainstream religion is there for NPCs. Is there for docile, derped, lethargic, sleepy individuals who can't process their emotions and just need to get a relief and a release and just keep going like that. A lot of the books that are critical to understanding what happened in those times when those religions were conceived are unavailable or kind of banned from mainstream. So start expanding your mind, start looking deeper into those layers. If you're Christian, read the book of Enoch, read the book of Thomas, read the Gospel of Essenes, if I say it correctly, or the book of Essenes, Thomas, Enoch. Look at those things. Look at those things. Start going deeper. If you're Muslim, have a look at what Sufism is. And why do most Muslims don't approve and accept Sufis? Why do they think they're not real Muslims or they're just some weird other people? If you're Jewish, have a look at deeper into that. Kabbalah, other books. What really happened? What's really happening now? How's that all connected? What's the purpose? Who controls those things? Why are we being lied to? You question the food, you question the media, you question people who are trying to tell you what to do. Go deeper. What is all this history we're being presented? Why is it being presented in this way? We truly live in a very historically rich planet. But what are we being lied to about? There are a lot of terrible things happening in the world right now. Human sacrifices, rape, pedophilia, murder, wars. Somehow it's all allowed to be happening. It seems like there are people with so much power in this world. Presidents of countries, organizations that are supposed to be creating peace in the world, yet somehow there's so much war, so much destruction, and it's just not stopping. Somehow somebody's calling for peace, yet it's not happening. Who is truly interested in us suffering? Who is truly interested in us continuing to experience pain, for the murder and rape and pedophilia to continue? Who is interested in that? Why are they interested in that? Why are they interested in you suffering about that? There's so much media coverage about all of this, yet nothing changes. Are we really that powerless? How disconnected are we from that world? Or how those people are disconnected from us? Are they even people? In the same sense as us? Do they have no compassion? Have they been brought up to have no compassion? Have they been designed to have no compassion? Are they also NPCs? Are they evil NPCs? Are they final bosses? They're just programmed to cause pain and havoc and create as much suffering as possible, or a certain amount of suffering, not as much as possible, certain amount of suffering. Is this a video game we're playing? And you've been an NPC until you're woken up. And now that as an awake hero, it is your destiny to save humankind. Is this also part of the game? Is this what was shown in the Matrix and Neo was doing? And then somehow he ended up still being in the Matrix as a glitch in the system. Why are we alive? Why are we here? How did we get here? What is the nature of this planet? What is the nature of this system? What is the nature of sun? What is the nature of moon? What is the nature of the world around us? Where are those people from? All these different people. Europeans, Russians, Africans, Indians, Native Americans. Where are all they from? Are they all from the same place? Different place? Different planets? Same planet? Different genes? Different race? Different planets? What is happening? Why am I being pushed to be an NPC? Why are there forces trying to make me an NPC? Why? Who's behind this? Do we really have free will? Or how much free will do we have? Where are those limitations really coming from? How do I truly become free? How do I truly become free from this matrix? The matrix is all around us. The world is the matrix. Becoming rich does not free you from the matrix. You're in the matrix. Even escaping the monetary system and being off-grid, you're still in the matrix. This planet is the matrix. This world is the matrix. This whole existence is the matrix. Everything is the matrix here. There is only one untouchable part that is not part of this matrix. Everything else is part of the matrix. So we're always clinging to the matrix, to the pleasures of the matrix, and we're running away from the pains of the matrix. So we're trying to optimize the matrix, but the matrix is designed to make us suffer. In whatever way possible, it's designed to trick us to keep staying in the matrix. The only way out of the matrix is completely out of this trap, out of this body. It's keeping you here. You need to learn how to be with it, but in the end, to leave it is the true escape of the matrix, to leave it completely. But without control of the mind is impossible. Mind control means controlling your own mind for the first start, and you can't even do that because the thoughts keep just appearing and appearing and appearing. So who is me and who is the mind? Who is the me that exists within that mind or outside? Or is it within? Is it trapped? Am I trapped in the mind? Am I trapped in the mind? Is this the trap? Is this the matrix? The only way out is to leave. Many people have left, and many come. How to leave forever, for good? That is the real question. Reincarnation is not a blessing. It's a it keeps you hooked. Who's smoking? I don't know the answers to these questions, but these are the questions that are worth asking. These are the questions that are worth answering. These are the questions that are worth exploring. These are the questions, answers to which are worth looking for and spending your life looking for. Not just living for pure joy, which never comes. Not just living for avoidance, not blindly accepting what you're given as the truth, but going beyond and deeper and finding out what is happening here. You free yourself from your shadow, and there will be no shadow ruling over you.